Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to Divine Allegiance. I'm your host, Maulana Baig. The subject we're discussing is real Islam. And in regards to that subject, Allah speaks about fake Islam or false religion when He says, وَمَن يَبْتَغِ غَيْرُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. The term غَيْرُ Islam is used to talk about Islam that is incorrect, made up, fabricated, or from the whim of the people. This is something that Allah says will never be accepted by Allah. The only Islam that is accepted by Allah is the one that Allah sent and Rasulullah brought and Ahlul Bayt preached. So, in regards to that, when we look at Imam Hussein's movement, Imam Hussein stood up to stop distortions in Islam and changes in the versions of Islam. People adding, specifically the way that the Khulafa or the leaders of Islam were adding into Islam and subtracting from Islam at their will. Imam Hussein stopped that through his shahadat, through his movement. But it doesn't mean that all distortions have been stopped. The distortions and versions of Islam still keep on appearing and it goes on. Now, these obviously will ultimately be destroyed when the Imam of the time comes back. But in the meantime, when we look at these distortions, one wonders why these distortions happen. Why do people need to interfere in religion and distort religion or change it, alter it? Why the need for that? Why do people want to do that? Well, there are three basic reasons for that, and I want to go into that. The first reason why religion is interfered with and altered or changed is power. Yes, religion is a powerful force, a potent force. It has more power over people than any other thing that you can imagine, more than money, more than politics, more than power itself, more than anything else. You see, what influences people the most is religion, is faith. Most people in the world are more influenced by their faith than anything else. And faith can tell them to do anything and they would do it. And they would do it gladly. They would be happy to do that. So religion and faith is a powerful force. And someone who wants power, someone who's looking for control, to manipulate people, to exploit people, the best weapon that they have, the best tool that they have is religion or faith. That's why people who want control, people who want power, they see religion as the best way to create influence and control over people, over the masses. Marx had said that religion is the opium of the masses because he saw the influence that religion and faith has on people. And if in the hands of the wrong people, it could be very devastating. And this is why people who want power and control, they go after religion and they change religion, distort it, become the leaders of it so they can use it for their power, for their own self-power. They want to be in charge and this is the best way of doing it. Let's go to the Quran and see how Allah speaks about this. When we see in Surah Tawbah, ayat number 31, He says, اتَّخَذُوا أَحْبَارَهُمْ وَرُهْبَانَهُمْ أَرْبَابًا مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ. Allah says that they, meaning these fake religions, false ideologies, and people who follow them, have taken their scholars and their holy men as their lords. Arbab from Rab, Arbab means lords. And they have taken them as lords min dunillah, instead of Allah. Instead of taking Allah and what Allah has sent as their resource, as the place where they should take refuge to and take direction from. They have taken their scholars and their holy men as their chiefs, their leaders. So now when you look at the history of religion and the influence it had on the people, because the people are under it and they feel that they're obligated to do things because religion says so, their faith says so, and faith and these sort of fake religions have made horrible and terrible histories of mass massacres and murders. Look at the history of the church in Europe in the Middle Ages. It's called the Dark Ages, the medieval times. It was a period of murders, massacres, which they called inquisitions, witch hunts, killing people for just accusing them of heresy. And that's about it. And you see, it's dark ages because it is dark. Religion can have such a huge effect on people. It can make them do things that are inhumane, cruel, but they think that they're doing something that is rewardable, that's going to make them go to heaven. And such is how they think. For example, look at ISIS and look at Taliban and Wahhabis. Look at their what have they done? And they behead innocent Muslims, people who say La ilaha illallah, Muhammadan Rasulullah. They behead them without any problem, and they feel that they're going to heaven because of that. What kind of religion is this? What kind of faith is strong? Faith is so strong, it'll make them do things that are inhumane, and they think that this is religion. This is faith. This is faith in God. And this is how strong religion is. There's no doubt about that religion is strong. It has power. And here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks again in the same chapter, Tawbah, in ayat number 34. Allah now speaks and says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu inna kathiran min al-ahbari wa ruhban la ya'kuluna amwal an-nas bil batile wa yasudduna an sabilillah. That most, oh, you who believe, most of these scholars and these holy men, they steal the money of people. They take the money of people wrongfully, and they stop the people from coming to Allah. They become the hindrance. They become the obstacle between themselves and Allah. This is most of the people, and we are talking about the fake ulama or the false religions. The exception here is the religion of Ahlul Bayt, the true Islam and real Islam, which is the Islam of Ahlul Bayt, and the scholars that follow Ahlul Bayt, the Shia scholars, that is different. But when you look at these other fake Islams, you will see that their scholars, they don't take you to Allah. They actually stop you from Allah. Look what they have done. They have hidden the truth. I will get to that. They have hidden the truth from people. They know what the truth is, but they have hidden it from people. This is how bad the situation is with them. Here Allah says most of them are like that. The few that are not like that, yes, they are the people that is real Islam. The ulama, the scholars, the leaders that are real Islam. Real Islam is that which takes people towards Allah. Fake Islam is that which stops the truth from reaching the people. And they do not, they stop people from reaching Allah. This is the difference between the two. And here Allah speaks about that and sees that religion is powerful. In the hands of the wrong people, it could be destructive. It is a catastrophe waiting to happen in human society. Let's go back to the hadith of the Prophet that I mentioned at the beginning of our series. The hadith where Rasulullah says that after me, Islam will be ripped apart into pieces. And for each piece that is ripped apart and thrown away into the garbage, a fake piece will be put in. A fake piece will be put in, and people will follow the fake. They will not follow the real that has been thrown away. They will follow the fake. And then why do people do that? Why are they taking out the real Islam and replacing it with a fake Islam? First reason Rasulullah mentions, فَأَوَّلُهُنَّ نَقْضَ الْحُكُمِ. The first reason is power. They want power because it is an influence. Once they get the reins of religion, they have a great power in their hand. Yes, people who seek power, their first source is religion. They come through religion. And people who have no character, no personality, no courage, they end up with a lot of power because of religion. Religion gives them that power. You see a person, for example, who feigns piety, meaning he acts and pretends to be pious, shows off in the masjid all the time, and makes people think that he's pious. What happens? He creates a respect for himself, and he has an influence over the people. And this influence becomes so strong that even if the Imam of the time comes, this person can stand before the Imam and challenge him. Look at the example of Abu Musa Ashari. This was a person who was a holy man in Kufa. He was known amongst the people of Kufa as a very pious person, and they all trusted him. And when it came time for people to join Imam Ali, they said, if he says so, we will join. What happened? He says no. He says, no, we shouldn't join, and the people didn't join. So a person who is worthless had become so strong because of religion and the influence of religion that he now stands up to the Imam of the time and takes people away from him. And the same person ended up on the payroll of Muawiyah. Muawiyah gave him a retirement. Yes, a retirement plan. He gave him money, and he died like that under the leadership of Muawiyah. This is that person who stood up against Imam Ali. So how did he become that strong? A person who's so worthless? Because of religion. Religion gives you that. Faith gives you that power. Look at Saqifa. People gathered in Saqifa. The Prophet is not buried yet, but the power grabbers, the politicians, all of them ran to Saqifa to try to wield power, to yield power and see what they can get. They all ran over there. But now the same people who would not take part in any battle, who did not have the guts to fight anyone, now they became so strong because religion was in their hand, faith was in their hand. They became so strong that they came and they burned the house of Ali and Fatima. How did such people who could not even stand up to anything, were scared of every battle and every danger, now have so much courage or strength and power that they can come face to face with Ali and burn his house? It is this fake, religion gives that power. And people take charge of religion and they innovate in religion, they distort religion so that they can become in charge. Yes, how do you distort religion? Very easy. You just have to make a little bit of a switch there. Leadership in Islam was only for Ma'soom. Imamat was meant for Masoom. Khilafat was meant for those who are infallible. And what happens? All you need to change that and say, no, a non infallible can also be the leader of Islam. Well, that's it. Once you change that, then you can fit anyone into that role. Even if it's a Yazid, you can fit him into that role. He's not Masoom. You don't have to be Masoom or infallible. And this is how religion is played with. It becomes a toy in the hands of politicians and sleazebags. This is why, number one reason why people play around with religion and distort it is because of this reason. Because it can have a huge effect on people. People who follow, they follow sincerely that they are doing things for Allah's sake. And they are doing things to get rewarded in the hereafter. But then what happens? They end up like that. My friends, the people who came to fight against Imam Hussein were people who were not honorable. They were not even decent. They came. These were the people Imam Hussein dealt with. If Imam Hussein had dealt with honorable men, decent people, then it would be something. But these people were worse than animals. They were wild. They were creatures. They had no honor. They had no decency. And that is why the gruesome scenes happened in Karbala. The scenes that we see that are so horrible and loathsome and vile happened because of the fact that the people Imam Hussein dealt with were such low lives that they had no standards. They had no decency to know when to stop. What is the right way of doing things? Even if you're in a battle, there's some etiquette. Even for the worst people, there's some etiquette to deal with. And that's why you see how horrible was the situation there. When Ali Akbar was struck in the back with a spear, and he, because of that blow, fell unconscious, was out cold, but he did not fall off the horse. He fell on the mane of the horse. His head was on the mane, and that's how he was. He didn't fall out. The horse, instead of taking Ali Akbar back to the camp of Imam Hussein, went into the ranks of Yazid. When it went into the ranks of Yazid, the people, the soldiers, saw that Ali Akbar was unconscious, he was out cold, he cannot defend himself. So they used that opportunity to strike him with their swords. They ambushed him. They struck him on his back while he's unconscious, while he's out cold. Everyone is taking turns hitting in striking Ali Akbar in the back until his back is open. No one is there to say, stop it. Don't you see he's defenseless? But this is what Imam Hussein has to deal with. People who can beat up someone who's defenseless, who's unable to defend himself. That was the tragedy. سَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلِبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ.